Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're setting aside the headlines and diving deep into a part of our biology that, well, honestly, most people haven't heard much about. Yet, it's arguably one of the biggest factors deciding how stressed or calm or even focused you feel day to day.
Yeah, we're exploring this single nerve, essentially, but it acts like a superhighway, connecting your brain to pretty much all your major organs. It's dictating everything from, how well you digest your lunch to your overall mental state.
And that common phrase, right? Having a gut feeling.
Exactly. That's not just some cute saying. That's pure biology. It's hardwired science in action.
So the physical connection there, the messenger carrying all that information back and forth, that's the vagus nerve.
That's the one.
Think of it like your body's own internal reset button, often overlooked but critical. It's this huge communication path, starting way up in the brainstem and branching out everywhere: heart, lungs, stomach.
And our mission today for this deep dive is really to pull together the science and, show you exactly how this vagus nerve works, why modern life sometimes makes it, sluggish, and maybe most importantly, what simple things you can actually do every day to strengthen it.
And we'll also touch on something surprising: its role in physical balance, especially preventing falls as we get older.
Which is vital, yeah.
Okay, so let's unpack this system then. The vagus nerve, the VN, it's the main operator, the main gear of what we call the parasympathetic nervous system.
Right, the rest and digest mode,
Yeah.
as opposed to fight or flight.
Exactly. So when the VN is active, it's basically telling your body, okay, coast is clear, it's safe to relax now.
And when it's firing properly, the benefits are really physical. Your heart rate actually slows down, you take in oxygen more efficiently, and crucially, your digestive system gets the signal, the green light, to do its job: absorb nutrients, manage waste.
And without that VN activation, if it's not working well,
Well, you can get stuck in that sympathetic, that fight or flight mode, even if the actual danger has passed, or even if you're just, sitting at your desk dealing with emails.
So we need to talk about a key idea here, something called vagal tone, because it's not just about the nerve being on or off, right?
Precisely. It's more like the strength or responsiveness of that nerve signal. Think of it almost like muscle tone.
Okay.
High vagal tone means the nerve is strong, responsive. It can quickly shift you from feeling stressed back to feeling calm. Low vagal tone, on the other hand, means that internal switch is kind of slow, sluggish. You recover from stress poorly, maybe stay anxious for longer.
And all the strategies we'll talk about later are aimed at improving that tone, strengthening that response.
Exactly, building up that resilience in the system.
Okay, so that takes us right back to the gut. You mentioned the gut feeling earlier. We usually think the brain's the command center, just sending orders down.
Yeah, that's the common assumption. But the research actually paints a much more interesting picture. It's more of a two-way street, or maybe even an 8-lane highway coming up.
What do you mean?
What's really fascinating is the direction of most of the communication. Your gut has its own incredibly complex nervous system. They call it the enteric nervous system. Sometimes it's even called the second brain. And studies consistently show that the gut sends something like 80% of its signals upward to the brain via the vagus nerve.
Wait, 80%? Seriously, so the state of my gut is influencing my brain more than the other way around?
Precisely. I mean, it fundamentally changes how we should think about things like mood and anxiety, doesn't it? It suggests that the stability, the health of your gut environment is a massive factor in your mental stability.
Wow.
So if your gut bacteria are out of whack or your digestion isn't smooth, the VN is basically sending these constant low-level distress signals upstairs, and that can manifest as feeling anxious or that kind of persistent brain fog.
Okay, so when this whole communication system falters, especially if the vagal tone is low, the symptoms can seem all over the place, totally unrelated.
They often do, yeah.
But they trace back to this one nerve not signaling safety effectively. So what should people look out for? What are the signs our VN might be struggling?
Well, the most obvious place, given the gut connection, is digestive issues. Things like chronic bloating, constipation, just general discomfort that maybe doctors haven't been able to pin down easily.
Okay, that makes sense. And then the mental side, the lack of recovery you mentioned.
Yes, definitely. That sort of persistent brain fog or feeling tired even after sleeping, or just an underlying restlessness, like you're always slightly on edge but can't quite say why.
Is there a more specific physical sign, something concrete?
There is one that sources often highlight, which is interesting: feeling dizzy, especially when you stand up quickly. It's often linked to something called POTS, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, which is increasingly being connected to VN dysfunction. The nerve plays a key role in helping regulate blood pressure when you change position.
Right, so if you combine that specific dizziness with, say, chronic anxiety and those digestive problems, it really starts to paint a picture. Especially for older adults, that sounds like a serious risk for losing coordination, maybe falling.
Absolutely. When you look at the bigger picture, this VN dysfunction is being directly linked to conditions like IBS, certainly chronic anxiety, but also real mobility problems.
Yeah.
That combination, feeling unsteady, feeling anxious, it significantly bumps up the risk of falls. So strengthening vagal tone isn't just about feeling calmer mentally. It's actually a core way to maintain physical independence and safety.
Which brings us to the big question, why? Why is this ancient, seemingly crucial system struggling so much in modern life? Is it just unavoidable aging, or are we actively making it worse?
It's usually a mix, I'd say. It is true that generally as we age, the vagus nerve can naturally become a bit less responsive. That's a factor. But, oh yeah, modern life is definitely compounding the problem. The VN is incredibly sensitive to chronic stress, but also to physical tension.
Okay, chronic tension gets thrown around a lot. Can we get more specific? Like, what's physically happening that dampens the vagal tone?
Sure, it's not usually like flipping a switch off. It's more of a gradual quieting down. Think about chronic poor posture, for instance. If you're hunched over a desk or phone all day, that physically constricts the areas the nerve travels through, especially around your neck, and, importantly, your diaphragm.
Ah, the diaphragm, for breathing.
Exactly. If your main breathing muscle gets tight and restricted, deep, calming breaths become difficult, and the VN just can't get the right signals, then maybe add in some systemic inflammation from, say, a diet high in processed foods. Now you're sending the VN constant signals of internal crisis.
So sitting badly, being stressed constantly, it's not just mental, it's physically restricting the nerve's ability to work properly. It's almost mechanical.
It really is. And that's why working on vagal tone is so key for maintaining independence as we age. A well-regulated nervous system, driven by good vagal tone, directly helps your muscles coordinate better. It reduces that dizziness when standing up, and it genuinely sharpens your overall sense of balance. It's active maintenance for stability.
Okay, so that leads us to the good news, right? We're not stuck with low vagal tone. We don't need, expensive gadgets or complicated procedures.
Not at all. That's the really empowering part. You can retrain and strengthen your vagal tone using really simple daily habits. Things you can start today.
How do we start turning that volume back up? What are the techniques?
The methods are almost deceptively simple. They work because they send a clear, immediate physical signal up to the brain that essentially says, relax, recover, rebalance. We've pulled out 5 key actionable steps from the sources.
All right, let's get into them. First up, the one everyone tells us to do, but maybe not how. Breathing.
Right. This is probably the most direct and fundamental reset. But the technique is absolutely crucial. We're not just talking about taking a random deep breath. We need a specific rhythmic pattern to really engage the vagus nerve mechanically, especially where it interacts with the diaphragm.
Okay, what's the rhythm?
The key is the exhale. The basic pattern is to inhale, say for a count of 4 seconds. But then you need to exhale slowly for about 6 to 8 seconds.
Ah, so the exhale is significantly longer than the inhale. Why is that so important?
Because the exhale itself is what directly slows the heart rate. By deliberately making your exhale longer, you are physically forcing your body to shift out of that alert state and activate the parasympathetic, the rest and digest response. If you do that rhythm for just 5 minutes, you are actively, measurably improving your vagal tone in that moment.
That's a fantastic clarification. It takes just breathe from vague advice to a specific neurological tool. Okay, technique number 2 sounds, well, more musical. Use your voice.
Yeah. Things like humming, singing, chanting, even gargling with water, actually. The sources confirm that the physical vibrations these actions create in your throat, around your larynx and vocal cords, directly stimulate vagus nerve activity right there in that area. It's like giving the nerve a gentle, localized massage.
Okay, I admit, humming to myself in traffic might feel a bit weird at first.
It might.
But the idea that it's sending a direct, safe signal is pretty compelling. And it's totally free, accessible anywhere. Nobody even needs to know you're doing vagal tone exercises.
Exactly. And that immediate signal is the point. Now, our third technique involves movement. But again, it's about a specific type of movement, a gentle movement.
So not running a marathon necessarily.
No, probably not for this specific purpose. We're looking more at practices like mindful walking, maybe some gentle yoga, or Tai Chi. These activities help keep your diaphragm and your spine flexible, which addresses that mechanical constriction we talked about earlier. A flexible core allows for better breathing, which supports the nerve.
And things like Tai Chi have that balance component too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They directly train proprioception, your sense of where your body is in space and balance, which provides a double benefit, especially for older adults.
Right. Okay, number 4 takes us back to where maybe 80% of the conversation starts. Feed your gut well.
Yes, we have to support the environment where all those crucial signals originate. This really means actively, including things like fermented foods, think yogurt with live cultures, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi, and also plenty of fiber-rich vegetables. These foods nourish the beneficial gut bacteria, the good guys, that actually use the vagus nerve to send their positive, calming signals up to your brain.
So it's a feedback loop. Low vagal tone can slow the gut, and a slow, unhappy gut reinforces low vagal tone.
That's exactly the loop we want to interrupt. Feed the gut well to support the nerve, and support the nerve to help the gut function better.
Makes sense. Okay, finally, step 5. This one sounds like the quickest reset, maybe the least comfortable at first. Cool down.
Huh? Possibly. This one leverages a basic physiological response called the mammalian dive reflex. Basically, a brief, sudden exposure to cold water, like splashing your face with cold water, or even just ending your shower with a 30-second blast of cool water. It sends a kind of shock to the system.
A shock in a good way.
In a good way for the vagus nerve, yes.
Yeah.
It immediately activates the VN to help regulate your heart rate and breathing in response to the cold. It's like hitting a quick reboot on your nervous system, often bringing a sense of calm quite rapidly.
Wow, okay. So 5 simple, mostly zero-cost habits. Rhythmic breathing, humming, gentle movement, gut-friendly foods, and a cold splash. If we start doing these things, what's the payoff? How do we actually know if our vagal tone is getting stronger?
Well, you'll almost certainly start to notice subjective shifts. Things like smoother digestion, feeling generally calmer, maybe noticing you feel steadier on your feet or sleeping more deeply. Those feelings are real and important markers.
But is there anything more measurable?
Objective. Yes, and this is where it gets really interesting, I think. There's a quantifiable metric that correlates very strongly with vagal tone.
Okay, lay it on us.
It's your heart rate variability, or HRV. HRV isn't your heart rate itself, but the tiny natural variations in the time between each heartbeat. High vagal tone is directly linked to higher, more variable HRV. That indicates your nervous system is flexible, adaptable, resilient, able to respond to stress quickly, and then recover efficiently.
And low HRV.
Low HRV suggests the system is more rigid, maybe stuck in that stress response, less adaptable.
And the amazing thing now is we can actually track this ourselves, right?
We can. Our sources confirm that many modern wearable devices, things like an Apple Watch or other fitness trackers, even specialized mobility tools like some FinchQ systems, they can measure and monitor your HRV trends over time.
So you can get real, tangible feedback. You could literally see if your daily breathing practice or humming habit is making a physiological difference.
Exactly. It gives you meaningful insight. It shows that doing these simple things really is about strengthening your physical stability, your mental resilience, your overall health from the inside out. It connects it all.
So this whole deep dive really shows that improving how you feel, how you function, it doesn't necessarily require some complicated new program or a drastic diet overhaul.
Not at all.
The power is already there. It's about learning how to consciously activate this internal reset button, the vagus nerve that you already possess.
And every time you intentionally slow down that exhale or do a little humming or take that mindful walk, you're sending a potent direct message through that huge nerve network. You're telling your entire system, you are safe, you can relax now, you can move with confidence. It's about reclaiming some control over your internal state.
So take that knowledge, take those 5 simple steps, and maybe try one today.
And here's a final thought to leave you with. If something as simple as consciously slowing your exhale can instantly signal safety and resilience to your entire body, what other seemingly small, maybe unconscious habits, like how you habitually hold your posture when you're stressed, or maybe constantly taking shallow breaths, what signals might those be sending right now? Signals of chronic stress, perhaps, without you even realizing it. Maybe challenge yourself. Just for the next hour, pay attention to your posture, notice your breathing. Your body is always listening, and that vagus nerve, it's always reporting back.